Let's welcome to the show Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmitt. It's great to have you on, sir. It's good to see you. So Merck is applying for emergency use authorization for its FDA, from the FDA for its anti-COVID-19, and it's an oral pill. And so you have that, right? But then you have this fight over vaccine mandates. And now the administration, is it really going to dishonorably discharge for not getting vaccinated, as it has threatened hundreds of thousands of U.S. troops without pay? It's not an honorable discharge. It's a dishonorable discharge. That's a court-martial that's used for things like murder. What do you say?
I think it'd be ridiculous. And, Joe Biden has already betrayed the American soldier in Afghanistan, and this would be another stain on his record. And hopefully that doesn't happen. I think what you're seeing right now across the country, whether it's Southwest Airlines or healthcare workers or men and women of law enforcement, they're saying enough is enough. Shame on Joe Biden, because I think what he's doing is he hasn't issued that executive order yet on the forced vaccination of 100 million Americans. The moment he does, Missouri, we will be filing a lawsuit to stop it. We'll take it to the Supreme Court and we'll win, like we did with the Remain in Mexico policy that we got reinstated that was so successful under President Trump. But I think he's using this lead time before the actual issuance of that executive order to try to get some of these companies to move forward. And I think you're seeing men and women across this country stand up and say, look, we can make these decisions. We don't need these mandates. These are our health care decisions, and it's very important. I think this is a debate about who we are as a country, who we're going to be. We've been the freest country in the history of the world. I don't think people want to lose that. I know I don't.
All right, so if, say a soldier is fighting side by side with another soldier, right, and that soldier is vaccinated and doesn't want to fight with that other soldier who's not vaccinated, but you know what I mean? They may be uncomfortable being in a foxhole with another person who's not vaccinated because they don't want to get sick. What would you say to that soldier?
Well, look, I think people are making these decisions. The military context obviously is a little bit different than, the private sector or the government mandates that we see for private businesses from Joe Biden. But I think, look, we're at a place in this country now where people have been able to make these decisions. I think we should respect that. I think people can make these decisions. And what we know is, thankfully, that especially those folks who be in the military, generally relatively healthy. If you're relatively healthy under the age of 25, you got about a 1 in a million chance of dying from COVID-19, right? So I think context really matters here. But for the left, that's just inconvenient to their discussion about command and control. And that's what this debate is about, whether it's mask mandates, vaccine mandates. For the left, it's about control.
I know you're with 24 other GOP state AGs fighting for this lawsuit. We get it. The issue is it right to do just an honorable discharge and not what they're talking about, which is a dishonorable discharge, which is a black stain on that soldier's record for life, loss of pension, loss of benefits. So why not just, let them go, which is a tough thing because these soldiers are stepping up for our country. They're laying down their lives for us. And for them to be thrown out over a vaccine when they're taking live fire, it just feels like a really tough thing to do, and it's not fair to the soldiers. But then the soldier, and by the way, even if they have antibodies and they're not vaccinated, they still would face dishonorable discharge. So that's where the fight is. But what grounds do you have for your lawsuit? What are the grounds for it?
Well, number one, it'd be unconstitutional. There's nothing in the Constitution that would allow, by way of separation of powers, allow the President of the United States, one person with the stroke of a pen, to force the vaccination of 100 million Americans. There's nothing in the Constitution that would authorize it. There's no statutory authority for it either. And so this would be sort of something he wants to do. But just like when he reversed President Trump's Remain in Mexico policy, that was an executive action. They didn't do it the correct way. There was no authorization of the law. It was unconstitutional, violated separation of powers. Missouri and Texas took Joe Biden to court, and we won. And we're going to continue to sue. We're going to continue to sue in these unauthorized executive actions. They're antithetical to our republic. The founders meant to spread out power, disperse power, so nobody could get too powerful, no branch could get too powerful, to protect individual liberty, and that's what we're fighting for.
And the Supreme Court already ruled 1905. The power for that lies with the states, not centralized in the federal government when it comes to vaccine mandates. People would just say, get vaccinated because that's how you're going to get rid of the disease. But, the thing is, when you have OSHA is going to enforce the president's vax mandate, which hasn't even been written yet, they only have 800 inspectors to handle thousands of businesses, millions of businesses nationwide. I don't know how OSHA is going to do that. And, when it comes down to, it's just a really tough thing for our nation's soldiers to have to deal with this. If they feel like everybody everybody else should get vaccinated. It's hard for those soldiers who are saying, yeah, get vaccinated. I don't want to endanger my family. And then for the soldiers who are not vaccinated but have antibodies, they're saying, well, we feel we're safe. You know what I mean? We saw this, sir, in 2001 with the anthrax vaccine, right? The GAO said, you know, they lost 1 out of 7 Navy pilots and crews because they didn't want to take the anthrax vaccine in Gulf War I. So we've been here before.
Yeah, well, and I think, look, in the broader context here, science and facts don't seem to matter to the Democrats who are in charge, right? This is about power, and they're never going to let it go. They got a taste of this at the local level, at the federal level, about a year ago, and they don't want to let it go. And I think that's why we have to keep fighting back.
All right, Attorney General Eric Schmitt, we'll have you back on. That was a great conversation. It's good to see you. Come back soon.